Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Board of Ed meeting. The date is Tuesday, September 10th, 2024, and I would appreciate that you turn off your cell phones as this meeting is being recorded. Ellen, can you please do the roll call?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. Ms. Callan Carson?
Here.
Mr. Carey?
Present.
Mrs. DeRoberts?
Here.
Ms. Hernandez-Williams?
Here.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Ms. Walters?
Present.
Mr. Weiner?
Here.
Vice Chair, Mr. Lacavoli?
Here.
Chairperson, Mrs. Granato?
Present.
And Weathersfield High School Representative, Angelica Data?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. And now that we have said hello to Angelica Data, we'd like her to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Angelica is our new representative from the high school, so we're all excited to have you here. Thank you for being here. So one of our favorite parts of the meeting, student and staff recognition, is back, and tonight we will welcome Caroline Fazina, and she is our Keen for Kids Extraordinary Coordinator.
Quick, I didn't expect to be up here. Hello, everybody. Carolyn Fazina. I'm the director of the Keen Kids After School program and the Keen Hands-On in-school program as well. Thank you for having us back to give a quick update on what we're going to be up to this year. We had a very busy summer. Spent a good portion of it with our application for more additional ARPA funds, which we are holding our breath, but hopefully we'll hear about very soon. So that's exciting and help us continue doing some really great stuff. And I've been planning this next session of After School, which I'm really excited about. We have 78 programs, which is 16 more than our last fall. Wow. I worked hard to bring in some extra stuff and some new partners. So we actually are going to be having programming with the Connecticut Science Center. We'll be doing some STEM programs. Playwell, which is a Lego, they do Lego programming. The music team, which is we have some classes in music mixing, learning how to mix music on a little DJ board or what, I don't even know what it's called. So, and then Hartford Stage is back, but a little bigger. So we are having, for the fall, grades 3 through 4, we're having Theater Kids, it's called. So it's a smaller, it's not a musical, but still learning all the pieces that go into putting on a production and learning lines and all that sort of fun stuff based on a book that they choose. So I'm excited about all those, plus a bunch of other usuals. And we have a teacher from the high school who's going to be teaching Spanish at all 5 schools, which is pretty exciting. And then a couple other teachers within the elementary schools that are going to be doing some programming. So a little bit of everything. Really excited about this year. Our registration numbers right now are good. They're about, though, the same as they were last fall, even though we have more classes. So I'm working really hard this week to send out all kinds of reminders through various social media, the schools, the PTOs, to drum up a little bit more. But it's good. We have a lot of kids participating still, which is great. I spent this week especially, I've been spending some time with the school social workers, and they've identified students who would like to participate in after school, but I'm trying to think of the words, fiscally not great for their family, so we're providing scholarships for those students as well. This week alone, I think maybe 15 kids, so actually in the last 2 days, so it's great. And the school, they've been really great at identifying those kids because we need that help. We don't know who those children are. So I also had a meeting with our 5 site coordinators who are all back in this same, I have one new site coordinator at Highcrest, but all either paraprofessionals or work with children, so they're experienced as well. And I've been working on dates, believe it or not, for their spring musical. So all 5 schools, again, will be having a musical this spring. And I'm working just to determine the performance dates and all the rehearsals so I can get those on the calendar and get all the lighting and sound reserved ahead of time. It's a popular time of the year for musicals, so I learned last year it's good to get in ahead of everybody else to get what we need. But I'm excited about that. And everyone is, I'm approached constantly by families and children to know if there's going to be a musical next year. I will tell you, I did ask families of the kids who are in musicals to give me some feedback about their experience, and I got several letters from parents, and just about everyone brought tears to my eyes, and they all talked about how transformative it was for their children. And those letters are on our website, so if you're interested, please visit. They really affirmed the good work that we're doing, so I'm excited about doing it again. We are back in the schools with our Keen Hands-On Learning program. This is our 4th year. We're excited to be back in the schools again. At the end of last year, we did a survey of the teachers to see how they think we're doing, and also anything we could change with the material or the topics that we're doing. And really the feedback was that they like the topics we're working on. So we will stay with that curriculum, but we are revamping some of them with some new materials and some more exciting things for the kids to do based on that same curriculum. So we're excited about that. And those, actually I got feedback from the teachers as well, and that's on the website as well, it's really fun. Some kids said it was the best thing they did all year, which really made me feel pretty good. Well, all of us, really. So that's really what we're doing in the after-school and the in-school program. You all got an invite I just passed around. On September 26th, we will be having a showcase of our enrichment programs, the after-school and the in-school program. I'm very excited, and this is as part of Lights On After School, which is a nationwide celebration of after-school programs. We will be one of more than 8,000 sites across the nation sending the message that after school is key to our children's success and that we must keep the lights on, doors on after school. And that also is what this ARPA grant is. It's part of still providing care for these kids post-pandemic and addressing issues and things that they are going through still, and how after school and our in-school programs can help that. We will have every provider of after-school programming will be there that we have after school with hands-on demonstrations. So I'm really excited about that. Food, pizza, the creamery will be there with their ice cream truck, all free for families of elementary school children. So everyone's welcome, whether you take out, they are participating currently in after school or not. We're happy to have everybody there. Giveaways, drawings, so excited. And also we will have performances by probably around 5 or 6 of the kids who were in the musicals in the spring throughout the evening to sort of showcase their talents as well. So that's what we've been up to. I'm really excited about, we're starting off like strong and fast and exciting, so I hope you all can attend. I would also like just to take a moment to say thank you to the school district. Recently we've been doing even more and more partnering on different things. I would like to say thank you to Sally. Throughout the summer she was really there for me in this ARPA application. It was a lot, this grant, and helping me find the data that I needed. And also just has been a real help, a friend of our program. We are also working with the school, the head school nurse, Elda, to try and come up with which I think we finally have, of a solution on how to manage the EpiPen situation when we have children after school, and sort of trying to share the EpiPens, and how can we do that so that everybody's safe and they are there for the kids if they're going to need them after school. So, and those are just 2 examples. I mean, I continue to be just really thankful for all of your support. We could not be successful in this program without the support of the schools, and the principals have been really supportive. So, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for having us. That's it. Thanks.
Any comments?
Okay. I just want to say thank you as well. You've thanked everyone. It's amazing. I'm just tired listening to all the things that you just explained, Carolyn. So it's amazing all the work that everyone has done and every year gets better and better. And I can't believe how much more you all do for the school and the community and how all these partnerships are forming. And it shows just how in the absentee data and kids wanting to stay after school and come to school, so they have to come to school to go to these programs, and just knowing that, all the kids know about this foundation. They know you're there. They know there's other people besides the schools and the teachers that are helping them have these fun activities. It's just great. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I know that we discussed bringing world languages to the elementary level, and having Spanish at the elementary level is huge. A lot of parents wanted that, and so instead of just saying we can't do that, this is just awesome. As a world language teacher, as a board member, as a parent here, it's just great.
Good. Thanks. I'm really happy.
So much for everything and Sally's help
she
as well.
approached me. She's very excited. It's Christina Russo from the high school. Has some really exciting things happening, ideas for the kids, and it's going to be activity based and a lot of fun stuff and learning Spanish at the same time. Perfect for this age group. So I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay, well, Michael?
I wanted to also just say a huge thank you, Carolyn, both to you and to Judy with regard to your help over the course of the summer as well. I know we're talking about, moving ahead into the fall, but the support, the financial support, and again, we were at the State of the Town breakfast, and I was lamenting that we didn't have the grant funding anymore and you had funding. And then we came together and provided our students with an enrichment experience this past summer in the class program. I continue, as I visit schools over the first 2 weeks of school, have kids come up to me, hey, I saw you in the summer program. And they talk about the impact that it had. And I've heard a lot from parents. So I'm very, very appreciative of the efforts and the support from your organization to keep that going.
Thank you. I did recently speak to a parent of a student who participated in class, and she sat down with him and he asked him what he wanted to do, and he picked scrapbooking and I forget what the other one was, but two things she would have never picked for him in a million years. And this is just showing you, like, these are the opportunities that these kids are getting, where they can try scrapbooking and they can try things instead of what they typically normally would want to, you as a parent, you think that their interest was. So it's fun and it's exciting to be part of providing those opportunities or helping to fund those opportunities for the kids. I think it's really, really important. So thank you for recognizing that. Thank you.
Well, I need to say thank you, and thank you very loudly, because this has been going on for a while, and it's just Keen for Kids, and everything you do for our students is just fabulous. That Broadway series that we have now in Wethersfield, Connecticut is outstanding, and if everybody gets to go to, or if anybody gets to go to any of them, it is just such an experience to watch these students up there. And, they love it. They absolutely thrive on it. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank the fairy godmother of Wethersfield, Connecticut, Judy Keene. So thank you very much for everything you do for our students here. It's priceless. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes for our regular Board of Ed meeting on August 20th, 2024. Are there any corrections? Anybody see any? Okay, may I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, those minutes are approved. And also tonight, we look to approve the minutes for our special Board of Ed meeting on August 30th, 2024. Are there any corrections? Yes.
I think there's a correction, but you'll have to help me because these are your words.
They're mine.
Oh, okay. Well, it says Bobby commented when the community knows it helps considerably, and they were presented with enough of these facts the last time. So I think you meant not enough of the facts were presented last time.
Yeah, no, that's right. It should be weren't, and they weren't presented with enough of these facts last time.
Thank you.
Ellen, do you have that? Okay. Okay, so any others? Then may I have a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved.
A second?
Second?
Point of
Okay.
clarification. Are we approving the minutes or the amended minutes?
We're approving the minutes as amended.
So that's got to be the motion then.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
A second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain?
Those minutes are approved. All right, is there anyone wishing to make a public comment? Come on up to the podium and state your name and address. And may I remind you that public comments are limited to 5 minutes. And just another reminder that the board members cannot respond to your comments immediately after. Hello, Sally Keating.
Hi, Sally Keating, 109 Church Street. First, I want to say thank you. My granddaughter, who is 7, went to a STEAM, just a 3-day program this summer, and there were 9 boys and 1 girl, and she came out the first day all smiles, and she loved it. And I said, "What did you do?" And she said, "Science." And I thought, I'm an engineer, so math, science, there we go. That's great. So thank you. Really, the program, wonderful. Wanted to talk about 2 things today. First thing was crossing guards. So I know there have been some, beginning of the year, straightening things out and all that. But I know at Hamner there was 1 guard missing. We have 1 guard out who's, I believe he's having surgery, the police officer told me today. 2 o'clock I was walking, was on Church Street, just walking with a friend, and saw a car I've never seen there. Lived on Church Street for 31 years, never saw this before, coming from, going towards the Silas Dean, going probably 35, 40 miles an hour, speed limit's 25, did not stop, did not slow down for the intersection at Garden Street. I was in shock. I was upset I didn't have my phone ready to take a picture of the license plate, but so I mentioned it to the police officer this afternoon, picking up my granddaughter, and he said, yeah, we had that machine out there for how many weeks it was there saying the posted speed is 25, your speed is whatever. So just a little bit scary. There's not usually a crossing guard at that intersection, but that intersection has a lot of us that live in the area very concerned. The next thing is on TSKP. Very excited. We're moving forward. Really thrilled. Just want to reiterate what I'm hearing from a lot from people is transparency, and I think you all have heard it again and again and again. Transparency, that's what folks are concerned about. They want to know if this plan is chosen over this one, why? And I've heard a few of you, reiterate the same point. So that's very important. And of course, cost. The whole roof issue and what's going on with the roofs, and I know it's physical services and that's tough, but the proposal to fix the roof above Highcrest was dated May 1st, and that was for replacing the roof. It wasn't just repairing it, it was replacing. And the fact that that work was not done all summer long, and then the big rainstorm comes in August, and now all of a sudden the work's going to be done off hours. I've spoken to Mr. Emmett about that, and I understand after what he went through with the high school, doesn't want work of this type to be going on when school is in session. But I guess, is this going to increase the cost because the workers are going to be there off, not on school hours, so and possibly Saturdays. So just a concern, and it just brings up as we go through all of this how critical maintenance is and how so much maintenance just doesn't seem to get done. And then the other thing that I hear a lot from a lot of parents with the youngest kids, safety and security. What are we going to do with our schools to make sure that they're safer? I mean, school shootings, very sad thing. We see it on a regular basis. and we just never want it to happen here, and we want to do everything we can to make our schools safe. So, as many of you know, I am the co-chair of the PAC, and we are excited to move forward, and we're here to support TSKP, support the board, support the town, the building committee. That's all I had to say. Thank you very much. And I appreciate all of you and what you all do. You know, watching a town council meeting, I don't know, a week ago or so, it really bothers me when people get so nasty. You know, and so some of it is the politics of it, which that's, you know, it's really a shame. I think I have great respect for all of you, the time you put in, you know, the great questions you ask of people like TSKP and all, and I just really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sally. Okay. All right, so we'll move on. Mr. Emmett, you have some communications to share?
I do. Thank you, Mrs. Granato. Good evening, everyone. I just want to bring everybody up to speed with regard to the development of our school calendars for the years 25, 26, and 26, 27. The committee met yesterday, and we have developed calendars for these upcoming years. We will be getting them before you for the next board meeting on the 24th of September. So big thank you to members of the WASA Union as well as the Wethersfield Federation of Teachers who sat together and worked through the contractual implications and also made sure that the numbers matched. We want to make sure that the calendar is accurate. One of the things we're going to be putting in also is it's the board's purview to set the graduation date for the next 2 years. We'll be looking at the putting in the tentative graduation date on those calendars. And the way it works out now, again, unlike this year, but the next 2 years, it looks like a Friday graduation. So, again, this year it doesn't, but the next 2 years it does. So we'll have that coming before you. I know that's something that parents want for planning vacations, and obviously for us, for planning through special ed services and CT SEDS, we need that as well. So that will be coming before you. Obviously, the other big thing coming up here in the district is open houses. The open house schedule is up on our website. So please take a look. If you're able to get out, please do so. The schools are ready and our teachers are ready to welcome the community in. This evening, you have before you for a first read, you have 2 policies, 4,000 series for staff, 5,000 series for students. This board, like boards across the state of Connecticut, are currently upgrading these policies, or updating them rather, to reflect the new rules and regulations around Title IX. So the Policy and Planning Committee took a look at these. These are Shipman and Goodwin approved and carry the appropriate language. So first read is this evening. I did make the commitment already in my final year as your superintendent of schools that I wanted to be out in schools a lot. Thus far, I've been putting the miles on. So I visited the schools a total of 26 times already this year. And I have had the opportunity to visit a wide variety of classrooms. So I've already been able to see the new reading program in action in first grade at Charles Wright. I have been able to visit kindergarten classrooms across the district. I have been in lunch at Silas Dean asking the students how are they fending with no cell phones. And surprisingly, our kids always surprise us. The students that I talked to said that it really wasn't a big deal. And they didn't mind it at all. Now, I haven't been up to the high school to talk to the high school students yet, so Angelica, I may be asking you. But I think it's one of the things that we're continuing to work on. We are not certainly done with Anxious Generation. Ironically, it was something that was discussed today at the Commissioners' Back to School meeting up in Hartford. So, again, I will continue to get out to schools. I did get to the Wethersfield Transition Academy, and actually they are already out in the community. So I have a couple of our Transition Academy students that are working over in the Stillman building, so I am thrilled to see them coming out and working with us. I did mention the Commissioners' Back to School meeting. I attended that today. That was held at the Connecticut Science Center up in Hartford. We had a presentation by Charlene Russell Tucker. We had words from Fran Rabinowitz, the Executive Director for CAPS. They did some data with regard to superintendents, and it was very interesting. Since 2021, in the state of Connecticut, 51.4% of the superintendents were new in their position. And they were able to identify a total of 29 superintendents in the room that had been in their current positions for 10 years or more. So Mr. Emmett got to stand up for 13 years. So again, the average lifespan of a superintendent is about 4 years. So again, thank you, board, for the stability that you have provided over the past 13 years. I do want to make mention to the public that on September 24th, the Board of Ed meeting will not be held here. It will be held over at Silas Dean Middle School. We're going to be getting some upgrades to the technology system here, and we do not believe that we will have microphones available. So our IT team will be over at Silas Dean. We will be able to film this, so we will be able to be live on YouTube TV. So no worries on that, but the September 24th meeting will be held at Silas Dean Middle School. We've been there before, and it shouldn't be an issue. The October meeting, we expect to be back here. We should take about 2 weeks to get the technology up to date. With regard to just a couple of quick updates, I had sent this out on Friday in a communication to the community. Highcrest is getting the roof section done. I've learned today that the materials should be arriving in approximately 2 to 3 weeks. The intent is to do the work outside of the school day after the school day is over, so it's 3 o'clock until dark. I have not yet heard if they're going to do a Saturday, but I've been adamant before. I do not want the noise and disruption to the learning environment, so we're going to be pretty adamant about that. Silas Dean Middle School, the engineer and architect are currently working on the design for that project as well. So we're hopeful that the lead time is not as long as the 40 weeks as it once was. My understanding from Sally Katz is it depends upon which company they go with to manufacture. So we're hopeful that both the chiller as well as the air handler will be replaced next spring. So it's a project that's been waiting for an awful long time. So I'm looking forward to getting that done. With regard to safety and security, I had said in a communication, you know, it's ironic, we got through a grand total of a week of school and we had our first school shooting. It's disheartening to say the least. For us, every time this happens, we assess where we're at, where we can get stronger, where we can fortify buildings. I did make mention of the fact that we had done all of our fire drills. It's one thing that schools are required to do as part of our safety plan that we submit to the state of Connecticut every November 1st. Actually, Mr. Barabalt has just finished it. Mrs. Granado has signed off on it. It's waiting one more signature, Mr. Barabalt, 2 more signatures, and will be sent off to the state of Connecticut. We submit that every single year. So all schools have completed fire drills. I had the opportunity to attend a lockdown drill at Hanmer yesterday, so it was great to be able to be there and actually assess what's going on. And again, it's the little things. You know, I shouldn't walk through the hallway and see the kitchen door open when the kitchen staff has left. So it's those little things. So again, we continue to assess and we continue to work to make things stronger and more secure in our district. At the high school, we are currently upgrading some cameras. We had 5 remaining cameras on the back side of the building toward the Chico Field and the community parking lot that were on the old NVR that is no longer functioning. So this week the vendor was out and has replaced those units, so we're in the final throes of making sure that they are positioned correctly and that they are good with their IP addresses, so we'll be fully cameraed over at the high school. So again, we also continue to work with the Wethersfield Police Department. Again, I have been adamant about supporting, having our police department be partners here, coming in to train. We had the Crest team here at Highcrest just last month, and they've trained at least once a year in our buildings. I want them to know the layout so that they can respond if need be. And then last this evening, I do want to recognize again, tomorrow marks the 23rd anniversary since 9/11. In the district, at the behest of Governor Lamont, we'll be flying all of our flags at half-mast again, or half staff rather, we recognize and remember all of those we lost here in Weathersfield as well as across the country. So with that, it's communications. Thank you.
And that includes Richard Keene. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And tonight we have no action items, but with our committee starting up this week, coming up, we'll be having lots of action items. But we have our first reading of recommended policy updates. Matthew?
Yep, as Michael just mentioned, tonight we'll be doing a first read of recommended policy updates that came through the Policy and Planning Committee pertaining to Title IX. Michael already explained a bunch of that, but I will explain it more in the next section, Board of Education meetings held.
Okay, so that's your job, everyone, your first reading. All right, our Board of Ed meetings held. So we had our Policy and Planning Committee, Matt, and that was just what we were on, so go ahead.
Okay, so during that meeting, we met to discuss model policy updates that were brought to us from our legal Shipman and Goodwin. As Michael has already mentioned, they do pertain to Title IX. There was 2 different readings, very similar but different. Prohibition of sex discrimination, including sex-based harassment having to do with personnel, and prohibition of sex discrimination, including sex-based harassment having to do with students. We met to discuss these policy updates. The discussion centered around the type of investigation that would result from one of these incidents occurring. One of the types of investigations would be considered a unified investigation, where the same person or group investigates and decides on an incident. And the other type would be a bifurcated, where the investigator and the decision maker are different people. So our superintendent, along with our Title IX coordinator, would decide upon which type of investigation such an incident would necessitate based upon factors of the incident and their professional judgment. I don't know if it's already occurred yet, but when I had written these notes, there was an administrator training on this topic that was scheduled. I don't know if that's occurred yet or not.
Correct, yes. Actually, myself, Mrs. Distoli, and Mr. Kazar attended that training. It was a 3-hour webinar.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. So the committee was unanimous in our decision to recommend the language to the Board of Ed. Michael noted that during his entire tenure, less than a handful of these incidents had to be handled, which is very assuring. Of course, we always strive for 0, but we like that the number is minimal. At the next meeting, the committee will possibly look at cell phone and bullying policies. And that was it for that.
Thank you for the details on that. We also had a special Board of Education meeting on August 30th. John, could you talk to that?
Sure can. Thanks, Bobby. So the special meeting was to approve the motion of TSKP to be approved the consultant services for pre- and post-referendum. In this meeting, I spoke as liaison to the building committee on my thoughts on all the interviews. I sat in on all the interviews. And then we also heard from Russ Moran, who's the building committee chair, on his thoughts as well, and why TSKP was the right choice for Weathersfield. I do still stand by that motion. TSKP is going to be a great partner for us. We then voted on the motion. It did pass, then was sent to town council, which was approved last week for them to continue forward with pre- and post-referendum. And that was the special meeting.
Great news. Thank you very much. Okay, we do have meetings scheduled, as I mentioned. We have Human Resource and Personnel Committee on September 16th at 6 o'clock. We have CREC Council, which is on 9/18 at 11:30 a.m. Community and Public Relations Committee will be on 9/18 at 6 o'clock. And Finance and Operations Committee is on 9/24 at 6 o'clock. Is there anyone wishing to come on up and make a public comment? Remember to put your name and to tell us your name and address, and may I remind you, you have 5 minutes. Okay. So are there any board comments? Go ahead, Matthew.
Yeah, so I made these comments at the special board meeting, but I just want to reiterate them this time around in front of you all, because some of you weren't at that meeting. I really want to thank the entire building committee for their work on the referendum thus far. I specifically want to thank John Weiner for being the liaison from the board to this committee. He has impressed us, and he has kept us informed the whole way through. He spent a lot of time and energy on this, and I'm impressed and I'm thankful. I also want to thank the building committee chair, Russ Morin. He doesn't have to do this. He's willing to do this and put in the work and put in the time, and people like him and people like John and people like the whole entire building committee are just like, it's who we need involved in situations like this. Nothing like this went on last time around. I think that's part of the reason it failed. I'm seeing a lot of differences this time around with the whole referendum as opposed to what occurred the first time, and I think that we're moving in the right direction. I think we have as many people involved as possible, and I think that is a good thing. So thank you all for your work on that.
Thank you. Anyone else for comments? Down here? Jim? Oh.
I have a couple comments, and it's along the lines of the building committee and the project. I certainly thank everyone for their hard work, but I did have a couple other comments. There may be a perception that the Board of Education has full authority over the school buildings, including the future elementary school project. This past April, the Town Council made the building committee responsible for the planning, oversight, and construction of any new or renovated elementary schools. They have ultimate authority in decision-making for the school project. This summer, the Board of Education voted on various build options and a request for a proposal for the elementary school project. The RFP later was changed by the Facilities and Maintenance Committee and then again by the Building Committee. 2 months later, the original RFP was retroactively called a draft. Going forward, anything that's a draft needs to be identified as such before the vote, so the process is clear to everyone. The elementary school project is a huge and costly undertaking that affects every stakeholder in Wethersfield, and we need to provide maximum transparency for the sake of our students and the taxpayers alike. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Marjorie?
I just wanted to make a few comments about all the hard work that went on this summer. I know there was a 7th grade, was it a 2-day orientation? What was it called?
Yes, orientation.
Yeah, for
Yes.
the 7th graders, incoming 7th graders for the Silestein Middle School, and I was just so blown away by the numbers about how the majority of the incoming class of 7th graders came to participate in the two-day orientation, and I think that probably made their entry into 7th grade on the first day of school so much better, and I'm just impressed with the staff at the middle school and the people that made this happen. So it's a huge effort, I'm sure, and I'm just really proud of them. And also all the people and students also at the high school on the first day, Eagle Way leadership group at the high school that really worked during the summer many times, getting vendors and other people to volunteer to help make a special first day for the first day of school at the high school, especially the incoming 9th graders with all the different activities, including our own Mr. Emmett, who participated in the dunk tank again and ruined a second suit.
Running out of suits.
But they had 2 dunk tanks this time, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yes. And so there's a lot of great activities the first day of school for the high school just to get kids to first they see their classes, they meet their teachers, but then they just get to be kids again. And I always say it's your first and only recess at the high school, so take advantage of it. And so I also wanted to talk about my experience reading The Anxious Generation this past summer and participating in the book club. I did the online book club, which was like a Zoom book club, but there was also an in-person book club and various parents, and I was impressed with the staff also from the district that appeared voluntarily, I'm sure, to be part of these book club discussions. And I would say to any parent or any grandparent or anyone out there to read this book. It's so eye-opening. It's life-changing for me as far as like reflecting on my own use of technology and seeing how my kids have grown up with it throughout the different years and how it's affecting this generation in such a huge way. And also what we can do as parents and what we can do as a board to help parents navigate this, because it's so hard. It's impossible to navigate this by yourself. And I think one of the messages from the book is that we have to do it together. We have to do it together with other parents to understand how to fight this fight, because it's really, really affecting our children. So I would there's many copies of the book, whether e-version or paper. at the library, but I would also just, encourage anyone to read it, and you will not regret reading it. And there's also a lot of podcasts with the author, or if you wanted just an abbreviated version of what he has to say about the statistics that he has found as a social scientist throughout the various different countries, whether it's United States, England, Australia. We're all kind of going through the same problems with this generation coming up, and what things we can do. Like, that's one of the messages from the book, is like how we can move forward and make the right changes as a society. And so I guess there's another book club or meeting November 19th. I think more information will be going out about that. I know an email has already gone out, but I would definitely encourage parents and other people in the school system to attend, because it's just such an important topic, and one that the board, I think, really still holds in a serious way as far as looking forward for cell phone policy, maybe helping parents give information about controls on cell phones and other technology, and educating parents as well. And I did go to a WSBC meeting this past Thursday, which is Wethersfield Schools Parent Council, and it's a representative from each PTO that goes to talk about what's going on at their schools. And of course, right now, it's just like everything's new, everyone just started, but one of the things I was really impressed with, and I haven't seen this before, and I've been around a long time, the elementary schools are all doing a district-wide night at the Hartford Athletic. And so each elementary school PTO is selling tickets for all the schools to go at the same time to the Hartford Athletic, I think in early October, and they're doing a kid family tailgate at Hanmer before they go. They're going to go there first, and then they're all going to go. So I think that's a great way to bring people together from all the different schools, and a joint fundraiser at the same time. So it's a great start to the school years, and great leadership, I think, with our PTOs.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for all that info. Anyone else? John?
So I wanted to give an update as the building committee met last night for the first time with TSKP as our new partner. They were there presenting their timeline of events for the referendum. One of the things I really wanted to mention to the public is there's going to be a ton of community involvement along with this project. They are already planning on being at Cornfest this next Saturday. This coming Saturday. And they have a plan of attack to really get themselves involved in the public through PTOs and open houses as well. I'm really excited about their involvement and with the building committee in mind as well for transparency to the public on this referendum going forward. I personally encourage the public to attend building committee meetings if you can. I think they're a great experience. To see this committee in action is actually really impressive. TSKP is also impressive. They are open to the public, so please do attend. I encourage my Parental Board of Ed members as well. Please do attend. The last thing I'll mention is also, actually a couple more things, sorry. Please email us with questions about the referendum as we go forward. The board will answer them as appropriate. So definitely feel free to reach out to us. We would love to hear your feedback and also answer questions you may have. My very last comment is going to be on the process of this. As I sat in those interviews, all 4 consultants all confirmed that having the building committee stood united with the Board of Ed and Town Council was the right move. Okay? So I know that this thing can be political. I know that we could have disagreements. I know there could be opposition. But we should realize that 2 years ago we had the same idea in mind, which was we need new skill buildings, we need new environments for our children, and I think that moving forward we should all keep that in mind when we're talking about this referendum together. Let's keep moving forward. Let's keep progressing forward. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, anyone else?
I have a couple topics. Pivoting off of, Marjorie, what you had mentioned with the cell phone usage, I did attend a very small seminar over the summer, and just something I'm keeping an eye on, even though I'm not on the policy committee, but some things I learned included paying attention to the impacts on the vision of the graduate, impact to any of the safety and emergency plan, not overloading our superintendent, creating a key person dependency that might be a little bit more difficult to manage in an emergency, such a thing. And then we also don't want such a rigid process that it's not flexible to allow for handling something in an emergency. So I'm looking forward to talking more about that because the safety is definitely one of my utmost concerns. The other thing is, I just wanted to share a little bit on the building committee meeting. So the questions that I asked, and I'm going to say them again just because I do think they're important for the town, is, with large projects, anytime you have someone who is fractionalized, meaning on more than one project, that is definitely a concern where Weathersfield cannot be first. So to make Weathersfield first in all of their decisions, anytime they have questions, I'm excited to hear John had communicated that there will be a dedicated staff. I think I've also heard that they will only be taking on this project at once. And last, I also hope that when they do just handle Weathersfield, that they're also not pulled away to do what I refer to as like the dog and pony show, the marketing pitch, as they're working with new clients and all that. We'd like to have them dedicated to Weathersfield as much as possible. So I'm really hoping that that can happen. And then I'm just looking forward to the timeline on that. And I do have a question for Michael. Am I allowed to ask, are we allowed to have a dialogue at this part of the meeting? It's regarding Highcrest.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the material's coming in 2 to 3 weeks. Definitely, we'll have less light of day. And I agree with you on the safety and concern for the kids. Speaking of the Keene Foundation, we will also have after-school programs there as well. So there are some kids in the building, right? Do we have an estimate as to how long it will take them to do this? And do they do that in terms of hours so that we can kind of get a feel for, is this going to, how long is this going to go?
Point of order, we shouldn't have discussion during board comment.
Well, realistically,
Because it's not on the agenda, so then therefore it's an FOI violation. Because it is a matter of community. Everybody, someone in the community may want to be updated about Highcrest, so.
okay. I looked at it as something that I had discussed previously during communications, but if you'd like me
That's
to,
how I looked at it as well.
I'd be happy to take that offline. Not a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Michael.
Very much.
No problem.
All right, anyone else for comments? All right, well, I'll give some closing comments. I always love to give a shout out to children's authors, and we are talking about an excellent book, which is The Anxious Generation. This is for our younger readers, and we actually have a woman in town who's since moved up to Maine, but she has written so many children's books, and I just wanted to throw out another book. I look like an advertiser up here for books, but our young students in elementary school, the more they read, the more they write. The more they write, the more they understand. And so I'm always throwing out books to people I know and even on the board here tonight. So this author, her name is Catherine Gorski O'Connor, is a Weathersfield Public School educated author. And she has given back to us by coming in as our author in residence, and she's still producing these books. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her. And that's like a nice segue into the news about where our young students learn. The decision to hire TSKP as our school building consulting firm was made at the Special Board of Ed meeting and then at the TC meeting. This is a step forward for our future project of building or renovating as new our elementary schools. Also, the unanimous town council yes vote to replace the roof over the Highcrest School Media Center was incredibly important. It shows that we are all learning to understand the need for our students and staff to be in buildings conducive to learning, and that the message is being heard that our elementary schools are in distressing need of new buildings or serious renovation is new. Communication on information by both TSKP and the PAC about our school building project will soon be available to town people online, at town events, and our schools. Please communicate your concerns and please support this major and necessary improvement to our town. So thank you with your support. And if there are no other comments, I'm just going to move to say I have the honor of introducing our Weathersfield High School.
I'm sorry. I have another comment, if that's okay. When we see TSKP going to all of the schools, how can we find out what they will be sharing are they just asking for feedback, or will they be setting any expectations? Like, what is it that they're going to be explaining?
Are you talking about the consulting firm?
Yes.
We're not allowed to have conversations, right?
Yeah, I guess
It's the
not.
same concept, yes.
I mean, I'm happy
Yes.
to help, but.
Okay, we will get back to you on all this
Okay.
then, okay?
Thank
Since
you
we're
very
not
much.
able to say it here tonight,
Okay.
but we will. Thank you
you.
for the question. All right, so I do have the honor of introducing our Weathersfield High School student liaison to the board. We're very pleased to have a student from the high school with us. So I introduce student Angelica Data. We do not want to put you on the spot tonight, but going forward, we'd like to hear comments about life at the high school on sports, activities, any clubs, so anything you can tell us to give us a feel for what's going on in our flagship school, okay?
I actually have some things to share tonight, if that's okay.
Yes.
Oh, then go right ahead. I didn't want to put you on the spot, but you're on the spot.
It's okay, thank you. I'm really glad to be here. So, as Marjorie? Yes. I was mentioning, we had our first day at Eagle Way. I was on the planning committee for that, and it was really fun. It really turned out amazing this year. But we also had with our Eagle crew, which is like a group of students, like 10th through 12th graders, who help guide incoming freshmen throughout the school. We had that happen, the student orientation. And then we also had our 9th season of Legal News start this year. We have lots of great ideas, including like, this used to be a series a couple years ago called Crosswalks. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of it. And then we recently had our first Spanish National Honor Society meeting of the school year, and we were talking about the various events that we want to have, as well as including Culture Night. And we were also talking about something called the Seal by Literacy for like language testing, and trying to open it out more to students to know about, for not just the languages that are taught at school, for instance, Spanish, Italian, French, but also their home languages. And then, as you were mentioning for sports, we do have our first home football game this Friday. So yeah, this is pretty much what we have so far.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we'll be looking forward to hearing from you at every board meeting. Thank you. Okay, is there any unfinished business? All right. So tonight, we do have something special going on. At this time, I will make a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of communicating the status of the reorganization of the finance HR departments, and also to discuss, evaluate, and select one of the three proposals, possibly select one of the three proposals for our superintendent search service. Do I have a second to those motions? Thank you. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay, abstentions? Okay, that concludes our regular meeting. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we'll